The Betrayal at Nexus Prime. The crystal spires of Nexus Prime stretched toward three different suns, their surfaces reflecting the amber light of the trinary system. Ambassador Elena Vasquez stepped from her transport shuttle onto the polished obsidian platform, her simple black diplomatic suit a stark contrast to the elaborate robes and biomechanical augmentations of the alien dignitaries waiting to greet her. Elena had spent 15 years preparing for this moment. The Galactic Trade Summit occurred only once every solar cycle, and this was humanity's first invitation to participate as an equal member rather than a petitioning species. Her dark eyes surveyed the assembled representatives with calm confidence, though her heart raced with the weight of what she carried. Zephyrian Chancellor Vextar approached first, his crystalline exoskeleton catching the light as he moved with fluid grace. The Zephyrians had ruled the Eastern Spiral for over 2 millennia, their technology built on harmonic resonance and crystal matrices that made them formidable traders and warriors alike. Ambassador Vasquez, Vextar's voice resonated through his translator collar, creating an oddly musical tone. We welcome Earth's representative to Nexus Prime. Your species has shown remarkable progress in such a brief time. Elena inclined her head respectfully. Chancellor Vextar, the honor is ours. Humanity looks forward to establishing lasting partnerships with all the great civilizations represented here today. Behind Vextar stood General Throck of the Korthek Syndicate, his massive frame encased in ceremonial battle armor that bore the scars of 100 campaigns. The Kortheks were warriors first, traders second, but they controlled the largest military fleet in the known galaxy. His 4 eyes fixed on Elena with barely concealed disdain. So small, Throck rumbled, his translator struggling with the deep bass of his natural voice. Your people conquered your homeworld through violence, yet you come here speaking of peace. Which face is real, little human? Elena smiled, unfazed by the obvious provocation. Both, General. Humanity learned long ago that strength without wisdom leads to destruction, while wisdom without strength leads to extinction. We offer both to those who would stand with us as friends. The third member of the welcoming committee was Counselor Lyra of the Vellani Republic, her pale blue skin marked with the intricate scarification that denoted her rank. The Vellani were merchants and information brokers, their neutral status making them valuable mediators in galactic politics. Your words are carefully chosen, Ambassador, Lyra observed, her silver eyes studying Elena's face. The Vellani have watched humanity's expansion with great interest. You build quickly, adapt faster than any species we have observed, and show remarkable unity for such a young civilization. Unity born from necessity, Elena replied. When you know you are small in a vast universe, you learn to stand together or fall apart. The formal ceremonies began in the Grand Assembly Hall, a massive transparent dome that offered a breathtaking view of the stellar phenomenon that gave Nexus Prime its strategic importance. 3 star systems converged here, creating gravitational eddies that made faster-than-light travel more efficient. Control of Nexus Prime meant control of trade routes spanning half the galaxy. Elena took her place at the human delegation table, flanked by her small team of advisors and security personnel. Across the hall, representatives from dozens of species filled ornate seating areas arranged in a complex hierarchy that reflected millennia of galactic politics. Humans sat in the minor species section, a designation that rankled but which Elena accepted with diplomatic grace. The summit's first day proceeded according to ancient protocols. Trade agreements were proposed, territorial disputes mediated, and technological exchanges negotiated. Elena watched and listened, making careful notes and occasionally offering insights that earned respectful nods from other delegates. On the second day, humanity's turn came to present their offering to the galactic community. Elena rose from her seat and activated the holographic display that would broadcast her presentation to every corner of the hall. Honored delegates, she began, her voice carrying clearly through the translator systems. Humanity comes before you not as supplicants, but as partners. We offer 3 gifts to demonstrate our commitment to galactic prosperity. The first hologram showed a sleek vessel with unusual engine configurations. Our quantum tunneling drive technology can reduce travel times between distant systems by 40%, while using half the energy of current methods. Murmurs of interest rippled through the assembly. Even the Zephyrians, with their advanced crystal technology, leaned forward with obvious curiosity. The second display revealed complex medical diagrams. Our regenerative tissue protocols can heal injuries that were previously considered permanent, extending the productive lifespan of any species by decades. This time, the reaction was stronger. Species that had warred for centuries over resources suddenly saw the possibility of maintaining their populations without constant expansion and conflict. The third hologram was the most impressive. A massive orbital construction that dwarfed anything in the known galaxy. Our stellar engineering project can create artificial habitable worlds in previously unusable systems, opening billions of acres of living space without displacing existing populations. The hall fell silent. This wasn't just advanced technology. It was paradigm-shifting capability that could reshape galactic civilization itself. Elena continued, "We offer these technologies freely to all members of the Galactic Accord, asking only for mutual trade agreements and recognition of human territorial claims in the Sol system and our 13 colony worlds." Chancellor Vextar was the first to respond. "These are generous offers, Ambassador Vasquez, perhaps too generous. What do humans truly want in return?" "Peace," Elena answered simply. "We have seen what happens when species turn their creativity toward destruction rather than creation. Humanity chooses to build rather than burn." General Throck's laugh boomed across the assembly. "Pretty words, but your military ships say otherwise. We have observed your fleet movements, your defensive installations. You prepare for war while speaking of peace." Elena's expression didn't change. "A species that cannot defend itself cannot long remain peaceful, General. We prepare for war so that we might avoid it." The debates continued for hours. Some delegates praised humanity's offerings, while others questioned their motives. Through it all, Elena remained calm and diplomatic, answering every challenge with patience and logic. As the third day began, the formal signing ceremony was scheduled to take place. Elena had successfully negotiated preliminary agreements with 17 different species, establishing humanity as a legitimate player in galactic politics. The documents lay spread across the ceremonial table, waiting for the ancient ritual that would make them binding. Chancellor Vextar approached the table first, his crystalline fingers delicately manipulating the quantum stylus that would record his agreement in unbreakable molecular bonds. "To partnership between the Zephyrian Empire and the Human Federation," he declared formally. One by one, the other delegates approached. General Throck signed with obvious reluctance, muttering about watching developments closely. Counselor Lyra's signature was precise and professional, befitting her people's mercantile nature. Elena was the last to sign, representing humanity's acceptance of its new role in galactic affairs. As she lifted the quantum stylus, she felt the weight of history settling on her shoulders. This moment would be remembered as the day humanity joined the galactic community as an equal partner. She had barely touched the stylus to the document when the world exploded into chaos. The attack came from multiple directions simultaneously. Energy bolts erupted from concealed weapons built into the ceremonial architecture itself. Elena's security detail reacted instantly, but they were overwhelmed by the coordinated assault. The carefully planned ambush had turned the signing ceremony into a killing field. Elena felt the first bolt hit her chest, the plasma burning through her diplomatic sash and into her heart. As she fell, she saw similar attacks targeting the few genuinely peaceful delegates who had supported humanity's inclusion. This wasn't random violence. It was surgical elimination of potential human allies. Chancellor Vextar stood unmoved as chaos erupted around him, his crystalline form reflecting the weapon fire like a prism of death. General Throck's laughter filled the hall as his concealed warriors emerged from their hiding places. Even Counselor Lyra, who Elena had believed might be sympathetic to humanity, watched the massacre with cold calculation. With her dying breath, Elena activated the emergency beacon hidden in her diplomatic badge. The quantum signal would reach Earth in minutes, carrying not just news of her death, but complete recordings of the betrayal. She had suspected this moment might come, and humanity would not be caught unprepared. As darkness claimed her vision, Elena's last thought was of the message she had already sent through back channels 3 days ago. A single word that would activate protocols none of these aliens could imagine. Crimson. 27 light-years away, Admiral Marcus Chen stood in the command center of Luna Station, Earth's primary military installation. The quantum beacon's arrival sent alarm klaxons wailing through the facility as Elena's final transmission played on the main display. Chen was a career military officer who had spent 40 years preparing for this exact scenario. His weathered face showed no emotion as he watched humanity's greatest diplomat die in the name of galactic politics, but his hands clenched into fists that could have crushed steel. "Sir," his aide whispered, "what are your orders?" Chen turned to face the tactical display showing human assets scattered across the galaxy. Hidden installations, sleeper agents, and carefully positioned resources that had been decades in the making. The aliens had just made the greatest mistake in galactic history. "Activate the Crimson Directive," he said quietly. "All assets, all theaters, full authorization." Across the galaxy, humanity's true face was about to be revealed. The silent war begins. Director Sarah Kim received the Crimson authorization in her hidden facility beneath the ice fields of Europa. For 23 years, she had built and maintained a network of human operatives scattered across alien space, positioned in critical infrastructure nodes and governmental positions where a single person could cause maximum disruption. Operation Cascade is now active, she announced to her team of handlers. Deploy all assets. Priority targets are communication hubs, supply chain nexuses, and government facilities. Remember, we are not starting a war. We are finishing one. The first strikes were invisible. On Zephyrian Prime, Chief Technician Alex Morgan had spent 5 years working his way up through the Crystal Harmonics division of their primary communication array. The Zephyrians had accepted him as a useful servant, never suspecting that his expertise in their technology came from years of careful study by Earth's best scientists. At exactly 300 local time, Morgan introduced a harmonic virus into the crystal matrix that controlled interstellar communications for the entire Eastern Spiral. The virus spread like wildfire through the resonant network, creating cascading failures that would take months to fully repair. Within hours, the Zephyrian Empire was cut off from its far-flung colonies and trade partners. Simultaneously, on the industrial world of Corthic Major, maintenance engineer Lisa Santos activated explosive charges she had been carefully placing for 2 years. The charges weren't large enough to kill anyone, but they were precisely positioned to cripple the manufacturing plants that produced weapon components for the Corthic military fleet. The explosions looked like industrial accidents, complete with false maintenance records and fabricated safety violations. Captain David Torres commanded the stealth ship Ghost Protocol, one of 12 vessels that had been operating in deep space for over a decade. These ships were invisible to alien sensors, their hull technology borrowed from species that had gone extinct before achieving faster-than-light travel. Torres had been watching convoy routes and mapping alien military movements, waiting for this day. "All Ghost ships, this is command," came Admiral Chen's voice across the quantum channel. "Execute Severing Protocol. Cut the supply lines, strand their fleets, but remember the rules of engagement. No civilian casualties." Torres smiled grimly as he targeted the unmanned cargo depot orbiting Nexus Prime. The facility contained enough military supplies to outfit 100 warships, all of it now drifting helplessly in space as precisely placed charges severed the station's structural integrity. Similar attacks across the galaxy left alien military forces suddenly short of ammunition, spare parts, and fuel. On the diplomatic world of Harmony Station, cultural attaché Maria Santos had spent 3 years learning the intricate social customs that governed interspecies politics. She had attended parties, made friends, and carefully gathered blackmail material on every major political figure in the neutral zones. Now she activated her network of informants and began releasing carefully curated information packets. Scandals erupted overnight as corrupt officials found their secret dealings exposed. Trade agreements collapsed when evidence of fraud became public, and long-standing alliances crumbled under the weight of revealed betrayals. The aliens began to realize they were under coordinated attack, but they couldn't understand the scope or nature of the assault. There were no human military forces to engage, no battle fleets to counter. Instead, their entire civilization was slowly unraveling from within as critical systems failed and political structures collapsed. Chancellor Vextar stood in his war room on Zephyrian Prime, surrounded by silent communication arrays and frantic advisors trying to re-establish contact with their colonies. "How is this possible?" he demanded. "The humans have no significant military presence in our territory." His intelligence chief, a scared veteran named Kexthi, consulted his reports with growing confusion. "Sir, we're detecting no human ships, no invasion forces, no direct attacks. Yet somehow our entire infrastructure is failing simultaneously. It's impossible for such a young species to have this kind of reach," Vextar insisted. "They've only had faster-than-light travel for 50 years. What the Chancellor didn't know was that humanity had been planning for this scenario since their first contact with alien species. While publicly presenting themselves as peaceful explorers and traders, Earth's governments had secretly developed the most comprehensive intelligence network in galactic history. Every human who traveled to alien space was a potential asset. Every trade mission included intelligence operatives. Every cultural exchange program placed observers in critical positions. While aliens saw individual humans as curiosities or servants, they were actually witnessing the deployment of the greatest espionage operation ever conceived. Admiral Chen monitored the global situation from his command center, watching as red indicators spread across the tactical display like a virus. Each indicator represented a successful operation by human assets, slowly paralyzing the alien civilizations that had betrayed Lena's trust. "Status report," he ordered. "Zephyrian communications are down galaxy-wide," reported his intelligence officer. "Korthek military production has dropped by 70%. Villani trade networks are experiencing massive corruption scandals that have frozen most commercial activity. And the other species, 17 civilizations, are experiencing various forms of infrastructure failure. Only the species that supported Ambassador Vasquez's proposals remain untouched." Chen nodded with satisfaction. This wasn't random destruction, it was surgical precision. Humanity was demonstrating exactly what it meant to make an enemy of a species that valued preparation above all else. On Korthek Prime, General Throck paced his command chamber like a caged predator. His military advisors huddled around tactical displays, showing their fleet positions, trying to make sense of reports flooding in from across their territory. "Sir," one of his subordinates reported nervously, "we've lost contact with the Third Fleet near the Rigel sector. Their supply depot was destroyed in what appeared to be a maintenance accident." "Another accident," Throck roared. "We've had 47 accidents in the past week. This is coordinated warfare, you fools." "But sir, we've detected no human military vessels in any of the affected areas. Our patrols report no signs of invasion or infiltration." Throck's 4 eyes blazed with frustrated rage. The Korthaks were warriors who understood direct confrontation, fleet engagements, and honorable battle. This invisible war was something entirely outside their experience. Unknown to Throck, Sergeant Maria Espinosa had been serving in his own household guard for 18 months. The Korthaks had recruited her from a border world, impressed by her combat skills and tactical knowledge. They never suspected that she was a decorated Marine who had volunteered for the most dangerous assignment in human intelligence. From her position within Throck's inner circle, Espinosa had mapped every secret facility, identified every key military leader, and prepared detailed strike plans that would cripple Korthak command structure without firing a single shot. Now she waited for the signal to activate the final phase of her mission. Counselor Lyra of the Villani Republic faced her own crisis as decades of carefully maintained neutrality crumbled around her. The information warfare attacks had exposed so many corrupt dealings and secret alliances that the Villani government was on the verge of collapse. How did they obtain this information? She demanded of her security chief. These documents were stored in our most secure systems. That's just it, Counselor. The security chief replied with obvious confusion. Our systems haven't been breached. The information appears to be coming from human assets who were present during the original transactions. Lyra's silver eyes widened with realization. They've been watching us for years. Every meeting, every deal, every secret agreement. They've been recording everything. The truth was even more extensive than Lyra suspected. Dr. James Park had been working as a data analyst in the Villani Information Brokers Guild for 4 years, with access to their most sensitive databases. While the Villani sold information to other species, they never imagined that Park was systematically copying everything and transmitting it to Earth through quantum-encrypted channels. Now that database was being weaponized, with carefully selected revelations designed to cause maximum political chaos while avoiding harm to innocent civilians. As the crisis deepened across alien space, a new development emerged that terrified the galaxy's leadership even more than the ongoing attacks. Key figures began disappearing. Admiral Greg Toth, commander of the Korthak Fifth Fleet and architect of several brutal campaigns against weaker species, vanished from his flagship while in hyperspace. His personal quarters were found sealed from the inside, with no signs of struggle or forced entry. Zephyrian Minister Velkan, who had personally ordered the massacre of human civilians on the disputed world of New Geneva, disappeared from his private mansion on a heavily guarded world. Security footage showed him entering his study, but he was never seen leaving. One by one, the individuals most responsible for anti-human policies and actions simply vanished without trace. Their disappearances followed no pattern that alien investigators could detect, but the message was clear. Nowhere was safe from humanity's reach. The truth was that Captain Taurus and his ghost ships had been expanded into a fleet of stealth vessels capable of operations that defied alien understanding. Using technology that combined human innovation with carefully studied alien weaknesses, these ships could penetrate any defense and extract targets without detection. Admiral Chen had been very specific about the rules of engagement. No innocent civilians, no random violence, no unnecessary destruction. We target only those who directly threatened human interests or participated in Ambassador Vasquez's murder. Make it personal. 3 weeks after Elena's assassination, the galactic situation had fundamentally changed. The mighty Zephyrian Empire was fragmented and largely cut off from its territories. The Korthak military machine was paralyzed by supply shortages and command disruption. The Villani Republic was consumed by internal political chaos. Meanwhile, species that had supported humanity's peaceful proposals found themselves mysteriously prosperous. Their trade routes remained secure, their infrastructure functioned perfectly, and they received anonymous gifts of advanced technology that boosted their economies and defensive capabilities. The message was becoming clear across the galaxy. Supporting humanity brought prosperity, while opposing it brought systematic destruction. In his command center, Admiral Chen reviewed the final component of the Crimson Directive. Hidden on Luna Station's deepest level lay Elena's personal message, recorded before her departure for Nexus Prime, and programmed to be released only after confirmation of her death. "Play the message," he ordered. Elena's face appeared on the main display, calm and composed despite the weight of her words. "If you are watching this, then I am dead, and the galaxy has revealed its true face to humanity. I knew this day might come. We hoped for peace, but we prepared for war." The message continued, revealing the full scope of human preparation for this moment. Secret colonies in unmapped systems, hidden military installations, sleeper agents in every major alien government, technology that surpassed anything the galaxy had seen. We offered friendship and received treachery. We extended our hand, and had it bitten. But understand this, honored delegates of the Galactic Accord, humanity remembers everything, forgives nothing, and never fights fair when our survival is at stake. Elena's final words carried across the quantum channels to every corner of the galaxy. You wanted to see what humans do when we stop being diplomatic. Now you're learning. This is not revenge. This is education. And class is now in session. The transmission ended, leaving the galaxy to contemplate a terrible new reality. Humanity had not been the naive newcomers everyone assumed. They had been the most dangerous players in galactic politics from the very beginning, hidden behind a mask of peaceful diplomacy. And now the mask was off. Admiral Chen turned to his staff with cold determination. Begin Phase 2 of the Crimson Directive. It's time to show them what happens when you murder Earth's children. The silent war was just beginning.